Welcome to Orange Art Gallery. I'm here today with Mathieu Laca. We're going to present his show, Gogh-Rama. So the opening actually was Thursday on July 23rd, but we thought we'd do a virtual opening for all those people who couldn't make it or feel safe looking at the video from your own home due to the pandemic. We're going to give you a tour of this amazing show, and shall we have a drink of wine?
Yeah, first. That's the first thing we do.
Okay, sounds good.
So the show Gogh-Rama is about Van Gogh, obviously, about Vincent Van Gogh. I have, of course, a lot of admiration for this painter, but there's also his personal life, which really touches me. And I wanted to do a series around him, reinterpret some of his works, and see how his spirit can be revived through my style. So that was the challenge, and it was also a challenge because I did all these paintings during the confinement. So there's a special mood in that series that you can grasp, and that certainly relates to Van Gogh. So let's see about these colors. Let's go and see the painting.
Okay, sounds good. So this is a spectacular piece. This is the largest painting in the show, and the colors are just amazing. It's called Sunflower Man. Do you want to talk about it, Mathieu?
Yeah, Sunflower Man is a bit of a reference to Superman, like a superhero, because Van Gogh has become such an iconic figure.
Yeah.
And yellow was his favorite color, so I thought of doing an entire painting like entirely yellow, and it's a really fluorescent color. It's very strong. The way I see this painting is it's a portrait, and it's as if Van Gogh is sort of buried in this yellow, in these sunflowers. So yellow is such an optimistic color, but then there's also this feeling of mortality with it, which I associate with Van Gogh a lot. This double, optimistic, very marvelous, exuberant, but then also sort of tragic at the same time. So this is the special balance I explored in this series, and that you can see this work in particular.
Yeah, amazing. So I think people are familiar with this famous scene from Van Gogh. I don't know if this was his bedroom, I assume so. But yeah, I love the way you threw even your own paintings onto the walls. Yeah, it's fascinating.
This is one of the first ideas I had about this series. Is like I had this fantasy of hanging my own works, my own portraits of Van Gogh inside this room, like to do an exhibition that would never happen otherwise. And so I really love this fantasy of mine, very colorful, and the ultimate fantasy would be to hang this painting at the Auberge Ravoux in Auvers-sur-Oise, in the actual room, which exists in his sort of museum right now. So this would be the ultimate. But I really love this painting. It's there's a sense of humor in it that we find in other works of this series too. So these are my running shoes. I love all the impasto I put on them in this painting because I feel like it's like they're sweaty. So it's one of my favorite ones. Also, it refers to Van Gogh's peasant boots that he painted, which is a very humble subject. I tried to also incorporate some more contemporary elements in this series. For instance, I used earphones, iPhones, some modern devices in contrast with the still lifes. And I also painted a grasshopper, which I don't know if you know, but there's a real grasshopper in one of Van Gogh's painting because he was painting outside. And this is sort of an anecdotal element that I find kind of funny, so I decided to include this grasshopper. So this is a portrait of Van Gogh at 13 years old. I tried to portray, have a sense of the turmoil that would come later in his life, and there's a lot of color and a lot of impasto in that small, very concentrated painting. I'm glad it was sold in Florida to Brian. I think it belongs to a sunny place. So these are all the same size, different portraits. This one here is a portrait of Joseph Coulin, which was Van Gogh's friend. He was a postman. I surrounded him with floating hearts, as if it was taken from a social media profile, so I thought that was funny. Also, there's a self-portrait here, just the eyes, which I call self-portrait in confinement, because of what we're wearing right now, the masks, and also the isolation. I thought this was an interesting way to portray the isolation and still having this heart, because we're all connected. It's just that there's physical distance right now. So that's it. Physical distance, but yet surrounded with hearts, with great love for surrounding. That's what you can see in these particular books.
So yeah, Mathieu, this piece is a really cool piece. We're very honored actually. Josh Brolin, he's a Hollywood actor, and his wife Catherine acquired this piece, and it's really Van Gogh, I would say. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, it's a bit. I find it's a bit hysterical in the way I painted it. It's very, very strong, of course. It refers to his famous self-portrait with bandaged ear. But then I added the earphones and a lot of splattering and some abstract works around the eye. So I titled it Vincent with like tons of E's, just to emphasize this sort of hysterical, climactic depiction.
I think you're the perfect artist to be portraying Vincent van Gogh with this, I don't know if you can get closer, but the thickness that he's putting, the layers, you really get the intensity of Van Gogh is going a little bit crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of paint. You see the paint, you see the realness of the paint, and that's what he liked about. I like it too. Here's a painting titled Vanitas, which is a still life that is supposed to remind us of the ephemeral quality of life. So that's why we can all often see skulls, dead flowers. But in this case, I used the Laurier rose that Van Gogh painted, and also the skull taken from his smoking skeleton, which I find quite funny. And I added a book I recently read, which is The Death of the Commendatore by Haruki Murakami, which is a really good book about portrait painters, or about portrait painting. It's an excellent book. So I just combined all these elements to do vanitas, something to remind us of the ephemeral quality of life. And having it really strongly colorful is also sort of antithetic to this idea, but I liked it to have these acid colors at the same time as a darker subject. It was a challenge and something interesting I found.
I love, Mathieu, the colors you used in this piece, almost like fluorescent, eh?
They are. When I started, it was entirely fluorescent red, and it was really hard to look at. And when I turned, everything turned green. It was really a strong color to begin with. But it was a challenge, and I like the subject matter of this one. It might seem a bit, I don't know, bloody, but there's no blood, there's no tragedy. It's just that the head is there without the body. It's Van Gogh's chair, and I decided to put his head on it, and to have a swirling of dripping all around. And it's called daydreaming, so it's really a kind of fantasy, a dream of colors, and trying to illustrate this dream he had of painting with colors. You know, he dreamt of colors. He always asked his brother to send him, more yellows, more greens, and so this is what I tried to portray in this one, this dream made of colors. So this is the last piece I painted for this show. Also, it refers to Van Gogh's last painting, which was a landscape of a wheat field with crows. So this is what the background refers to, this wheat field with crows. And I really love the mood of this one, which is kind of sad, but then it's combined with a very strong pink, and pink is not really a sad color. So there's a sort of ambiguity between this strong pink color and the sadness we see in his eyes, which I find makes this piece really, really interesting. I did all sorts of experiments in this series. I used stripes, geometric forms, also fluorescent colors. I painted the background several times. It was a lot of fun, and I really feel like I had immense freedom because we were all in confinement, and I didn't really know if I would have a show at all. So it was a great space for freedom. I think it shows in the series.
Well, Mathieu, that was very interesting. I've learned a lot. I think these are amazing paintings. You really do have to come and see them, the colors, the texture. I think it's very fitting to have the show in the gallery, the Orange Art Gallery.
Yeah.
And I think you might be today's Van Gogh, so cheers to that. I think he would be proud, and definitely come and see the works if you have a chance. The gallery is open Wednesday to Sunday, 11 to 5. As well, you can shop online. All the paintings will be available for purchase there as well. Thank you, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Ingrid, for hosting me. Thanks to the Orange Gallery. And I think that in this time of there's a lot of uncertainty. Like, we need this colorful vision. We need to be fueled by art. So please come and see the works. And I hope you enjoy.
Thank you.